Sivaya Nama Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back to our discussion on Thiruppaatu, historical sequence, third Thirupathigam, third song which belongs to the place called as Adhigai Veerattanam. Virumpinerku enathu ullam vidagilaa vidhiye vinnavartham perumaaney mannavar nindru yethum karumpey en katti ullathaal ulgi kaathalser maatharaal gangaiyaal nangai varumpunalum sadaikkaninthu valaraatha piraiyum vari aravum udanthuyila vaithu endai irumpunal vanderigedila vadaveerattanathu uraivane iraivodum igalvan pol yaane. This particular verse is again it indicates the beauty of the place, which is Adhigai Veerattanam, and then he says what kind of grace Lord Shiva has on the souls. So if you look at it, he says, all I did was just thought of you. I just had a small longing, not even yearning, I just had a little bit of longingness to achieve or to get closer to you. And because of that, what you did was you came in and you grasped me so tight. This is what we in Siddhantam we call it as a cat's logic. If you look at it, there are two ways to express this. When we talk about our commitment or our worshipping approach, there are two approaches we usually say. One is called as the cat logic, another one is called as the monkey logic. If you look at the cat logic, if you look at the babies, the kittens, they just wander around and they are not bothered too much. But the mum cat is so responsible that it will try to bring the kittens to a safer place and protect it. The kittens will be running everywhere. The mother is the one who is responsible for bringing in the kittens back and making sure the safety is there. On the contrary, if you look at a monkey, it's totally different. It's the other way. The baby monkey is the one which will cling on to the mum so tight, and the mum will not be bothered. It will just be jumping from one branch to another. So the mum is not really bothered about that, but the baby is the one which clings on. That's exactly we look at. What kind of a bhakti do we have? What kind of a worshipping approach do we have? Is it like a cat where we just be there and let God direct us and make sure that we are being safe? Or are we going to go and cling to Lord Shiva? There are two types of, two ways to look at it, and this particular phrase, the very first phrase, talks about the kitten logic, which is, I just thought of you, I didn't do anything, but what you did was made sure that you are with me and you're protecting me. That's what he says, enathu ullam vidagilaa. You are the one who is bringing me, who is holding on to me, but not me as a soul. I don't have that authority, I don't have that kind of a capacity. So he says, you are the one who is clinging to me, and I'm grateful for that. And he uses a word called as vidhiye. This is one of the beauty of Saiva Siddhanta. The reason is, when we talk about the maturity of the soul, you look at our education system itself. Not all the kids have the same level of understanding. Not all the kids have the same level of grasping power also. It is the same teacher, it is the same content, it is the same way of delivery, but the kids get different marks because the way of understanding is different. And when you talk about different standards, primary 1 syllabus is different from primary 2, and that's different from primary 3. So if you look at it, even our educational standards are very much different. Why? We cannot have the same level for every soul. We are all unique. We are all different. So we all have our own unique characteristics and attributes where we cannot equate with one another. So in order to achieve the realization or even to get onto the spiritual path, we cannot be talking about one single approach. That is why Saiva Siddhantam came up with two approaches. They said, what kind of a person are you? Are you an emotional person or are you a logical person? If you are a logical person, don't worry, we have Saiva Siddhanta for you. You get onto it, put in your thought process, always talk about equation, ask your logical question, get answered, get convinced. Based on that, you will be able to achieve realization. On the contrary, if you are an emotional person, don't worry, you have Thirumurai with you. Just keep singing. Don't do anything. Just keep singing and just get immersed into that particular happiness and the blissful state. The remaining, Lord Shiva will take care. This is exactly, he says, with the word, just with the word vidhiye means based on what kind of a personality I am. If I'm a logical person, you have taken over me based on that approach. If I'm an emotional person, you have taken over me based on that approach. You know better about this soul's maturity level, and you have taken control over it. Just this one word has so much of a meaning. The next one, he says, because of this only, you know what, all the devas are praising you, saying that you are their king. That's why we call it as Deva Deva. Deva Deva means the king of all the devas. And then he says, not only that, you know, even people who are born in the earth, because when you say mannavar, which is nothing but those people who have the relationship with Sister Gaia. So he comes in and he says, the people who are born in this earth, they are also praising you and they are singing praises of you, and in between they have so much of love for you that they start, you know, sometimes when we feel too affectionate towards someone, we don't bother about whether we are following the rules or something, and we suddenly start talking about, even when we talk about a kid, right? Suddenly we'll be teaching or we will be talking to the kid, and suddenly we say, oh, you are my cutie pie. That will not even be related to the topic, but we start cuddling the baby there. That's exactly what the human beings are also doing. They fall in love with Shiva so much that they start singing praises, whether it is based on the Thirumurai or based on out of their pure love, it depends. So that is what he says. And beyond that, he says, you know what, you are so you are already in a blissful appearance. You have Parvati, your consort, on the left side of your body. So you come in as an Ardhanarishwara. Not only that, you have Ganges in your forehead, as in your hair, and next to it you have the crescent. Next to it you have a snake. How is that possible? The reason is, we all know snake and moon is not friendly. Rather, it has an enmity. Not even talk about friendly. They are enemies. But what Lord Shiva has done is, he has kept the snake and the crescent next to each other, and you know what? They both are peacefully sleeping. How is that possible? If you look at it, when can a person sleep in peace? Only when we feel the place is safe. Only when we feel safety, we can sleep peacefully. That's why if you go to some temples, you feel like sleeping over there. The reason is, it's so serene. The temple is so serene, and it gives you so much of a protective feeling that you feel like, okay, I can doze off in this place. If you feel some kind of a fear in certain places, you may not be able to sleep. So sleep means we feel safe in that place. In this particular verse, he says, the crescent as well as the snake is there next to each other, and they are having a peaceful sleep, which means Lord Shiva's hair is so secured. Obviously, right? There's nothing to say about it. Call a spade, that's it. It's such a truth. That's why he says that way. And he says, this kind of place, this kind of a view that you can see is a place called as Adhigai Veerattanam, and at that in that particular place, I'm witnessing Lord Shiva, and I'm not going to forget him, at least from now on. That is never going to happen. That's exactly what he says in this third verse. I'll come back again with the next verse very soon. Until then, Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitrambalam.